that he had put her head on a shelf and screamed at it for an hour, threw darts at it, and ultimately smashed her face in. He also cut her tongue out and her larynx and put them in a garbage disposal.
Tell me in a sentence who you are.
I'm nobody. I'm a bum. I'm a boxcar and a jug of wine and a straight razor if you get too close to me.
Do you ever feel violent?
Yes, I do.
What do you feel like doing?
Killing people.
You still feel like killing people?
Yes.
Describe the feeling that you get when you feel like killing people.
Well, last March 11th, I was hallucinating, and I took a razor blade and I cut a man's throat.
Here in the hospital?
Here in the hospital.
Do you think you'd murder me, Joe?
Yes.
That's gruesome, Joe. That's horrible.
Yes, it is.
And you don't blame me if I say I hope you never get out of this place.
I hope I never do either.
Welcome, all you true crime lovers. Sit back, grab that blanket and hot beverage, and prepare for another Saturday night of The Murder Show. Whose mind and story will we dive into tonight? Now for your host, Tim, and alongside him, his co-host, Criminology Chris and Classroom Jackie.
Just before dawn, Moscow, Idaho held its breath. A quiet college town, empty streets, a hillside house sitting in the dark like it had 100 nights before. Nothing looked wrong, nothing sounded wrong, but something already was. At 11:58 a.m., a call came in. A simple report, an unconscious person. No panic, no details, just enough to send officers to a house they knew well. What they found inside would ignite nationwide investigation and reveal a trail stretching far beyond King Road. Welcome to the Murder Podcast Show, Part 1 of The House on King Road, the Idaho 4 Murders.
Good evening, all you Murder Podcast Show fans. Welcome to another Saturday night here on the Murder Podcast Show. I am your host, Tim, also known as the Architect, and alongside of me is...
Criminology Chris.
Oh, it's so good.
My co-host, Criminology Chris. And alongside of Criminology Chris is the director of all of our social media platforms, Classroom Jackie.
What's up, guys?
Welcome in, everybody. Boy, have we got a awesome show for you tonight. A lot of research has been done. It's the first part of 2, and it's going to be great. We will get to that here in a minute. Per usual, let's get to the regular business here. The sponsors. Don't forget, we have Crafty Corner by Laura. Laura makes all handmade crochet items, plushies, jewelry, and more. All right, you can check her out on Instagram and Etsy at Crafty Corner. And you can also email her at thecraftycorner at gmail.com. Also, Dubby, our favorite energy drink sponsor. They have various flavors. Their energy drinks are fantastic. They're just amazing. They don't give you, jitters. They do help you focus really, really well. A bunch of different flavors with those. When you head over to dubby.gg, be sure to use promo code MurderShow66 at checkout, and you'll receive 10% off of your items. And last but not least, the Dochi Edible Snacking Cookie Dough. That's right. It is gluten-free, plant-based, and comes in various flavors from peppermint baddie, basic bitch, WTF fudge brownie, and chocolate chip. I'm doing these without my sponsor script anymore. So
That's because we've been doing it so long.
Yeah, right. You can either bake them into separate cookies, or you can eat it straight out of the jar. It does not contain eggs and any of that wonderful jazz. Head over to Doichi Foods, DOICH Foods.com, and use promo code, once again, MurderShow66, and you'll receive $5 off of your order. Now we are going to head over to the social media corner over here. Classroom Jackie's 1 minute of murder.
Classroom Jackie's 1 minute of murder.
All right, guys. So our Instagram, we are still at 30 subscribers. So that's not changed very much recently. Our next one is going to be our Facebook. We are officially at 116 followers on there. So we did jump up by a few over the week. Our YouTube,
Oh yeah, you have the response. That's right.
we're at 149 subscribers.
Wow, did we just gain another one?
Yeah.
Oh, because it was 148 like hour ago. Cool.
We have gained, it's 149 subscribers now, which is fantastic. And of course, our TikTok has grown. We are at 1,261 followers, you guys.
Yeah.
Our TikTok has gone insane.
It's gotten there. I was checking numbers. I always do every week on all the streaming platforms. And we just had the most amount of streams in 24 hours yesterday. We had 60 streams in 24 hours, which includes the iHeart, Spotify, all that stuff. And that's where people stream it at. Unsafe Snuggie, welcome in. So 60 in 24 hours. And we've actually gone outside of the States. We were like 98% listeners in the United States. Yeah, we have now gone down to like 68 United States, and we're 30% in Vietnam right now, which is crazy. 30% in Vietnam, and then Singapore, and there's a few different ones that were like 2 or 3% in. So we appreciate it, guys. You guys are showing so much love and support. It means a lot to us. Now
there's a ton from the Middle East that are following us.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh yeah. It's getting it. This is it. We're doing it.
We're getting big.
So let's get down to part one here. We are covering the Idaho 4, which took place in, refresh my memory.
2022.
2022, and the trial was in 25, right?
The trial, yes. But we're not going to jump to the
trial
until
part 2. I was just kind of throwing out a couple of dates.
From 22 to 23 is the majority of where this part's going to take.
Yeah. So this is Mr. Brian Kohlberger. This is a wild one. Now, we've all been researching it heavily all week, and I may or may not had just a few nights where I was working at it. But that's
we had to tell
that's great
him, go
though.
To bed.
Listen, no judging. Anyways, so I have been requesting information and documents from Idaho Police Department in Moscow, where it took place. The FOIA requesting information from them, and the FBI.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to get some of it back yet, but I do have a lot of court docs and body cam footage and all kinds of stuff that on this. So nobody come on here and try to say do your research, because that line can be put up your ass. Anyways,
we did a lot. This was a case that I followed for years since it happened. And I've wanted to cover this case since we started doing the show.
So anyways, we will jump into it here and get things going. I'm host one. I remembered. Okay, November 13th, 2022, high noon in Moscow, Idaho. The sun is up, and for most students, the day is just beginning. But at 1122 King Road, a house known for its energy and music, there is a terrifying, heavy silence.
At 11:58 a.m., a call placed from her surviving roommate's phone reaches the Moscow Police Department. The dispatcher marks it as an unconscious person report. That timing alone created confusion, but the details of the call added even more.
Police initially stated the call was made from the phone of a surviving roommate. That phrasing led many to assume the roommate placed the call.
But investigators later clarified The phone belonged to a surviving roommate. The call was placed by a friend who had been summoned to the house, and multiple people were present when officers arrived. We're going to play that clip real fast for you guys before we jump on.
Yeah. So with this clip, it's
A lot of it is still redacted
there.
where we can't hear some of it.
It's all over the place between like 3 or 4 of them out there making this call. They're passing the phone around, and you'll hear it. So just try to stay with it.
Road. A. 1122. What is the rest of the address? Oh, Kings Road. Okay. And is that a house or an apartment? It's a house. Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right? I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them. I need someone to repeat the address for verification. The address, 1122 King Road. And what's the phone number that you're calling from? What's your phone number? And tell me exactly what's going on. One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Hi, and are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around. Can I just tell you what happened very much? What is going on currently? Is someone passing?
So that's just some of the call. The call's about 4.5, minutes long, and it's kind of scattered because they're passing around. Dispatch keeps, telling them you got to stop passing the phone around. I need one person to just stay on the line. So you kind of hear that, but there's not a whole lot more beyond that part. It just kind of, they're asking if they have
A defibrillator.
defibrillator there, and
if the victim is breathing, if they're willing to check. But as we're about to find out, there's also, you hear some shouting in the background from the friends trying to protect the other ones.
yeah. So this next part, it's not really. So audio from this call has never fully been released, which I think a lot of it's out there now.
Some of it still isn't, but there is a majority of it.
But we do know chaos. Multiple friends had been summoned to the house. Roommates couldn't get a response from anyone. What was it? 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And when they finally opened the doors, they didn't see victims. They saw what their brains could only process as passed out students in a pool of dark liquid.
In the background, you can hear a male voice shouting, "Get out, get out," as the realization of the violence sets in. One friend reportedly fainted on the lawn.
Why unconscious? Wow, don't honk that horn. Because the amount of blood was so overwhelming, it had actually seeped through the floorboards and was visible on the exterior foundation and siding of the house. To the untrained eye, it looked like a medical emergency. To the officers who stepped inside, it was a massacre.
Yeah.
And we
can show that.
the picture. Yeah, I don't know how well this thing's going to work with sharing tonight, but
We're gonna try it.
We do have the picture here of the blood seeping through on the outside of the house. Let me see if sharing it is going to do anything or not. Bear with us because technology is fun. It's over there, but it's small. I'll try to increase it. It's on a smaller screen. That's going to come up on your guys' end there. It just takes a second, but you can see the blood seeping through foundation there. Give it a second and it'll enlarge itself. But that's crazy to have that amount of blood and it's coming through.
Well, as we'll find out, the amount that was enforced, like not enforced, the amount of injuries that happen to these victims, the amount of blood is not a surprise that would be there. But to seep through the house,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah, because there's got to be a pretty good seal between, like, because if you're looking down here where the floorboards and stuff are, right, molding around the bottom, there's got to be a pretty good seal between that and to get to the exterior, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think to a degree. And we're also talking about like an older house in
And it sat
Moscow,
on a
Idaho,
hill.
Yeah.
So it would have settled down some.
Yeah.
Once the tape went up, the world learned the names.
Madison Maddie Mogan was 21, a marketing senior and the sweetest soul. She was the one who ran social media for the Mad Greek.
And she was actually there at the house to show the roommates her new car that she had got, her Range Rover.
Yeah, she had just
Not Maddie.
gotten it, right?
Kaylee did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, one of them, if I remember correctly, one of them had moved out, but was back
That
for
was
like
Kaylee,
a party.
I
Okay.
believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Her best friend since the 6th grade was Kaylee Jade Goncalves.
Oh God, he's thinking about it.
She was 21. She was the fireball. She had a new job in Texas, a new Range Rover, and was 1 week away from moving out. But
Oh
she
my
wasn't there.
gosh.
Yeah. And we have a picture of the 4 of them as well, which makes it even worse is just how happy. The picture that we're showing was taken the day before they died.
Yes. I've been told I don't work enough during the show, so they both told me that I need to earn my keep more.
We planned this really well for this episode.
Yeah. All right, it's going to come up on your screen in a minute, but yeah, Classroom Jackie stated that is the 4 of them, and that was the day before they died.
That was.
Which is crazy when you look at that picture and you think about it. So, and they all were really
young,
close friends,
yeah,
and real young too as well.
If
So
you want to tell about Xana, why we show that, they can see who we're talking about.
West Virginia in the house. Welcome in, James. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome.
So on the floor, Xana, I'm not even going to butcher that.
Xana Kernodle.
She was 20, a tough cookie from Arizona. Her father remembers her as a fighter who worked 2 jobs while keeping a 3.5 GPA.
She also worked at the Mad Greek with Maddie Mogan.
Yes, that was the vegan restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ethan Chapin, 20, a triplet and a Sigma Chi. Is that how you say that?
Oh.
Sigma Chi brother. He was there simply because he didn't want to leave Xana's side. He was the athlete, the jokester, the protector.
On November 12th, the night before the murders, the house was calm. 2 roommates who would later become eyewitnesses were home earlier in the night.
Kaylee and Maddie went to the Corner Club, a popular bar downtown. CCTV shows them arriving around 10 p.m. They stayed about until 1:30.
From there, they walked to the Grub Truck, a late-night food spot. A live stream captured them waiting for their order. They were relaxed, chatting, unaware of anything unusual.
Meanwhile, Xana and Ethan were at a Sigma Chi party just a short walk away. They were last seen around 1:45.
So the 2 of them returned home around 1:56 a.m. using a ride service. CCTV from the neighborhood shows a car dropping them off.
Xana and Ethan returned around 1:45, according to digital records and statements.
2 roommates surviving were at the house. They were in their rooms on the first floor. They reported hearing normal household noises. Nothing that really seemed different, alarming, anything like that.
Mm-hmm. The autopsies... Nope. That's you. I get the horn.
The autopsies tell a story of a frenzied mass casualty event. Collectively, the 4 victims were stabbed over 100 times. Um,
On the
that
thir-
yeah,
on the third floor were Maddie and Kaylee. They were found together in Maddie's bed. Maddie had 28 stab wounds. A horrific injury spanned her face, clipping the nasal septum. Kaylee had 38 wounds. The autopsy revealed asphyxiation and blunt force trauma, suggesting the killer used the hilt of a knife or his hands to silence her.
Xana, it was Xana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Xana suffered the most. Now, this is wild. Over 50 wounds. She had deep defensive cuts on her hands. She grabbed the blade. Investigators found blood on the bottom of her feet, proving she was upright and moving during the struggle.
She, before we moved to Ethan, she had ordered DoorDash at 4 in the morning and had ate the food. For her to be found, she was found in the doorway of her bedroom, standing there, like laying there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was before the DoorDash then, right?
It was
No,
after the DoorDash.
after, yeah, because it was so late. Yeah, they wouldn't be delivering then.
Ethan, her boyfriend, was found on the bed with 17 wounds, caught off guard.
Now, there was a dog, Murphy. He was found unharmed. That was like one of the first things I was thinking about too. Like when I heard there was a dog, like, was the dog okay?
Yeah.
Because I think about that
Yeah.
shit, So he was found in a empty room, and that was up on the 3rd floor as well,
That
right?
that was next to Maddie's room where Kaylee and Maddie were both found because she moved out.
Yes. So she was in Maddie's room, and the killer likely encountered Murphy and shut him into the empty room.
At least he didn't hurt the dog.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, really.
Well,
I know.
at that point, I mean,
Yeah.
you've already committed. It's sad, that but yeah, at that point, it's weird when you try to think about that. It's like, because you would think that the dog would be barking and that he'd be worried about the dog being a threat or giving him away, breaking
Right.
into the house,
Well, actually,
So you think he'd want to shut the dog up.
so at 4:17 a.m., a neighbor's camera picked up a thud and Murphy's barking. He was the only witness raising the alarm.
Oh, okay.
And then to show just like what this looked like, we do have pictures of the crime scene that we can show.
Yes. So here I am. I'm going to work again. Just don't tell anybody that occasionally I do work. So hang on a second here. All right. So it's going to come up. This is some blood splatter that is on one of the walls in the house. It doesn't necessarily tell us where it's at in the house. So you have that. And this is a gruesome one. So trigger warning here if anybody does not like a lot of blood and that kind of nasty stuff in crime scenes. This scene, that picture that is coming up, is one of the rooms. I don't know exactly whose room, but it has an excessive amount of blood, and you can tell there was some sort of struggle and fight.
I think that was Xana's room.
Yeah, and you can see one of her shoes there. It could be because there's like food napkins, and you said that they did have some food delivered there. So there's like napkins. I mean, everything is just a mess. Pillow has blood on it. Here's another shot.
That is Xana's room because that's Ethan's blood that was underneath and on the wall.
Oh yeah. So you can see there, looks like Taco Bell nacho fry box. Honestly, I'm not even kidding, but that's what it looks like over there to the left. So, and Taco Bell's not a sponsor of the show, but anyways, I just have to throw that out there. And then this one here has a handprint on the window. It looks like there's dust or dirt on there. I'm not sure exactly whose handprint that is, where that came from. That I don't know. So anyways, let me back out here. Sorry, we have a comment up there. Zaina pronounces her last name like,
Yeah, you keep pronouncing it wrong.
oh,
Xana.
oh, okay. Ethan's last name has a long A. You know what?
Next time you get the
We
horn.
we tried to practice their names. Okay? We're
Thank you,
sorry.
though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that Jax? Yeah, thank you, Jax.
Got it.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, you are correct. They did find Murphy's paw prints as well.
That's disgusting.
Yeah,
It's just disgusting.
that's.
Scene.
I mean,
It just
the amount of blood and stuff in that crime scene. I mean, it was just brutal. Everybody, the
oh
amount
yeah,
of
you
times
don't
that they were all stabbed,
you
and
get a whole hell of a lot more intimate than a knife.
yeah,
Than a
yeah.
military knife like a K-bar. I mean,
Well, that's what.
that's
Yeah, and yeah, we'll get to eventually all that and how but yeah, that's crazy. Go ahead.
The killer thought he was a ghost, but he was leaving a breadcrumb trail.
CCTV caught a white sedan making 4 passes by the house between 3:29 a.m. and 4:04 a.m. So Brian's phone stops reporting to the network at 2:47 a.m. It remains dark during the exact window of the murders. So they stated that what he had done was he could have either A, shut it off, or B, put it into airplane mode.
Right after he had left his where he was staying at the University of Washington
Yeah.
on the campus there, and the housing he left at what we watched and read was at 2:48 a.m. He left from there and then entered into Moscow and shut his phone off around 3-4ish.
Yeah,
something.
between 2:47. That's when it went dark.
Mm-hmm. At 4:48 a.m., it wakes up south of Moscow. His phone had pinged the King Road tower 12 times in months prior.
At 9:12 a.m. the next morning, before the bodies were even found, his phone pinged back at the King Road house. He had went back to the scene again, and that was where one of his first mistakes were that he
Right.
had made was he went back there, and we don't know why. I mean, he could have been trying to maybe see how the scene was or whatnot, but
Or see if he could find anything that he may have left
yeah.
behind.
So he had went back there and he forgot to turn his phone off.
Just 5 days after the murders, on November 18th, Brian Koberger walks into a Washington DMV.
He was swapping his Pennsylvania plates for Washington ones, trying to shed his skin.
He was standing there making small talk about the murders with the DMV rep.
Yeah.
And saying that he definitely needed to get his license plates changed right then and there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of
wouldn't that raise like
yeah.
a red flag? Why do you need to change your license plate after talking about these murders?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little hey, I need to hurry up and change these from Pennsylvania, Washington, like now.
Yeah, what's the urgency?
Yeah, right. So when we left off, investigators had identified a white Hyundai Elantra, model years 2011 to 2013, seen circling the King Road neighborhood multiple times the night of the murders.
It wasn't the only Elantra in the region, but it was the one that kept showing up on cameras at the exact moment investigators needed answers.
And behind the scenes, oh God, not this word.
Analysts.
Analysts were building a database, cross-checking registrations, campus parking permits, and DMV records.
One name rose to the top: Brian Koberger, 28-year-old criminology PhD student at Washington State University.
Washington State University sits just across the state line, a 10-mile drive from Moscow. Koberger lived in a graduate student apartment on the WSU campus. Did you hear that, Chris? Criminology student. So watch yourself. Watch yourself.
Investigators pulled campus surveillance. They found a white Elantra registered to Koberger. They also found footage of that same vehicle leaving the WSU campus in the early morning hours of November 13th.
The timing aligned with the movement seen in Moscow.
But investigators needed more than a car. They needed a pattern.
Investigators begin analyzing cell tower data. They looked for devices that had been near the King Road house during the early morning hours of November 13th.
They had found that phone that had been turned off during the critical window, but had pinged near the house on multiple prior occasions.
According to the affidavit, the phone connected to the towers near King Road residence at least a dozen times before the murders.
I believe from what we were watching last night from the investigators, they said it was about 30 times that he had pinged.
Yeah, that's a lot too. And that's another thing. He thought he was being smart, trying to cover his tracks,
Right.
because he was a criminology student and he really liked the one professor that was speaking. She's written several books and all that. I don't remember her name off the
Yeah.
top of my head, but he wanted to be just like her and stuff, but he didn't realize that along the way he was making mistakes that eventually would catch up to him.
So while he was in school, he did for one of his projects, he did a survey type thing, research study with some of the former incarcerated prisoners, asked them questions like, did you prepare for the crime? What did you do to prepare? When you did it, how did you feel? Did you do this, this, and this? All information that he could use to his benefit.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's also criminology oriented too, because he was asking what they felt, what their feelings were, what was going through their head when they did it, afterwards and that sort of thing, which is
Yeah, you had said that he was reaching out to different serial, killers,
well, yeah,
and he
I
was
think that,
asking them all these
and the
questions.
woman that he had, that he kind of idolized, she's very popular in the field.
Yeah,
She's written books and such and everything that she's big time into that, and I think she had met with multiple serial killers and tried to understand them, but that's part of the gig, right? So,
yeah. But we've seen this a few times with some different killers that have either been studying criminology or they were in some sort of law field. And it's crazy because there was quite a few of them that we've studied throughout the time in the show that I didn't realize that. And it's like, holy
right.
cow. And I think it's because they are trying to kind of get into the mind, because I wonder if they realize that they may have a problem at that time, a little bit of a
Well,
problem,
yeah, it
you
got,
know?
like I said last night when we were chatting, it's like, are they trying to understand the field for trying to understand the field? Are they, and especially in this case, is this guy trying to understand himself? I mean, he had a questionable past. He did some things that were,
He did
questionable at
heroin.
best. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, he had a heroin issue that he recovered from. He had a little bit of trouble back then,
Yeah.
and with his what was that, white snow
Yeah. The
vision
white snow vision. There's only like
issue thing? I mean,
2% of people in the world that actually have that.
yeah, it's very rare that he had complained about it.
Yeah. Where
They
it's
just
almost like they almost said it's almost like you see television static
yeah,
a
not
little bit.
not that that compels you to
No.
be who this guy
Well,
is,
true.
but
And he also had
it's
tinnitus, ringing in the ears too. So they said try putting both of those together with that ringing and then with the fuzziness too in the
I
eyesight.
couldn't imagine that
Yeah, because
living with that.
I
But
just have tinnitus. I just have ringing in the ears and that drives me nuts.
yeah,
Like you get used to it to a point, but when you're trying to lay in bed at night and you really focus on it and it's loud, high pitched ringing, I couldn't imagine seeing static too at the same
oh
time.
yeah,
It wouldn't drive me to kill, but it would drive me nuts.
Do
yeah.
you, with that tinnitus, do you hear it in both ears or is it one ear occasionally?
No, it's in both.
Oh, I just
It's
have one ear occasionally gets really high pitched and then stops.
you could. I mean,
It's not a tumor.
my dad has it. I just got it from years of not wearing protection for my hearing for working in factories, a steel mill, and then I was a drummer in bands for years. So people always said, "Put earplugs in, wear earplugs." I'm like, yeah. Well, now I'm paying for it.
Just put headphones in, turn it up loud.
Yeah,
You'll be fine.
just run a podcast and put headphones on and listen to loud stuff. Oh wait, hey. Um all right.
Most of those pings occurred late at night or early in the morning.
Investigators interpreted this as a potential pre-incident surveillance, but they still needed, oh no, cooperation. Hey, I did it. Anyways, don't look at him. He won't ring it then. Carry on. Come on.
On December 15th, more than a month after the murders, Koberger left Washington State University and began driving across the country with his father.
They were headed to PA, also known as Pennsylvania, in case anybody doesn't know, for winter break. Investigators were already watching him quietly from a distance.
The FBI coordinated with state police along the route. They wanted to track the Elantra's movements without tipping him off.
The first stop happened in Hancock County, Indiana. A sheriff deputy pulled over the white Elantra for following too closely.
Body cam footage shows Koberger in the driver's seat, his father beside him. The deputy asked a few routine questions, issued a verbal warning, and let them go.
The stop lasted only a few minutes, but investigators were watching closely, studying his demeanor, his hands, his eyes. Bird, welcome in. Yes, he calls me his son. I always go into his lives and I say, hey, Dad. Bird's not actually my father, but, thank you for joining, Bird. Appreciate it.
They didn't intervene. They didn't arrest him. They simply observed.
So I want to go over, I've got a whole bunch of court documents and stuff. I want to go over, especially the one I have some text messages and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That were, and I don't have to share this stuff for nothing.
We're going to just read some of it off.
I'm going to read some of this.
Hey, Bird.
Yo.
Yeah. Yo, man. Just give me a few minutes. Jackie or Chris, if there's anything you guys wanted to discuss, give me a few minutes to bring this up.
So I know we were talking last night about this, but Xana and Maddie, I apologize, both worked at the Mad Greek. One of the things Koberger did was he was vegan. So he ate at Mad Greek. That area around there was popular for a lot of college students, including the WSU college students, to go and eat.
Well, yeah, there had to be some sort of weird connection with this guy and these girls. Once again, this whole thing taking place was just too intimate. When you shoot somebody from a distance with a firearm, you may want them to die, but when you're stabbing them to death, that just is a whole new level of hate and that connection is just, and it's amazing that through all of this trying to pin down and what drove everybody nuts is everybody's waiting to hear a motive, what the hell possessed you to do this shit.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that drives me crazy. It's why what's the answer behind why the hell did you do what you did? Why didn't you just stay home that night?
Yeah.
What possessed you to go do something like this?
Yeah.
And to do it in a way that was that horrifying.
Now, we did mention that there were 2 survivors in the house, and that is going to be roommate, we're going to use their first names, is Dylan and Bethany.
Yes, so I have the text messages here. So there was, let me see here. So there was, they refer to him in here as DM, NBF, Dylan, Bethany. She saw a man in a ski mask leaving the house. Then they exchanged the following text messages between 4:22 and 4:26 a.m. So DM to BF, no one is answering. DM to BF again. I'm really confused right now. DM to BF, what's going on? BF to DM, yeah, dude. WTF? BF to DM. Zaina was wearing all black. DM to BF, I'm freaking out right now. DM to BF, no, it's like a ski mask. BF to DM, STFU, which stands for shut the fuck up. BF to DM, actually DM to BF like he had something over his head and little it just says ND. There's, typos because they're probably you're,
Freaking the hell
freaking
out.
out,
Yeah,
panicking.
right.
Something little around mouth is what I think she was trying to say. DM to BF, Bethant, I'm not kidding. Oh, am so freaked out. BF to DM, so am I. DM to BF, my phone is going to die. Fuck. BF to DM, come to my room. BF to DM, run. BF to DM, down here. DM to BF, I'm screwed though. And then last one is BF to DM, yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. So during the foregoing exchange, DM also attempted contacting Ethan through Snapchat. His Snapchat ID was GJ Trans. She again tried calling, but neither responded, and then exited her room and began running toward BF's bedroom. On her way, she noticed Xana lying on the floor of her room with her head towards the wall and her feet towards the door. DM thought Xana was drunk. GJ Trans. Once DM arrived at BF's room, they locked the door and both made additional unanswered calls to the other roommates. At 4:32 a.m., DM again texted, "Please answer."
Just so you know, the where it says trans is the transcript.
That's fine. We're going to roll with it. Um, so with no response between approximately 5 a.m. and 6:30 a.m., DM engaged in activity on her phone, primarily creating, editing, and deleting images and videos. Her phone activity then ceased until 8:05, when DM accessed, what was it, Instagram for a few minutes. At 10 a.m., DM again accessed and got online and communicated over Snapchat. At 10:23, she texted Madison asking, "Are you up?" She received no response.
Which they said was weird because Maddie and Kaylee were early risers and would be up early.
Yeah. So what my first thought is, what I don't get is during this time when the murders had happened, why nobody had contacted 911 until noon the next day. That's a long period of time.
So we talked about
I
this
know, baby. I know. Here we go.
The adrenaline and that fear response, that fight or flight mode. Theirs was their fear. They saw one person in there. They don't know if there's somebody else. They heard a thud. Ran downstairs. They're locked in a room. You're going to end up running out of adrenaline at some point. I understand they could have called 911 right there.
Yeah.
They should have called 911.
Never in a million years
But
would
you're
they have thought that this
scared.
would have happened.
Well,
Exactly.
true.
Yeah, but still, I think, we all try to put ourselves in that position. It's like, how the hell do you put yourself in that position?
So, and it was crazy too, because she was editing and deleting pictures and videos too. So I don't know there. I know that they were all cleared, the surviving victims and stuff, and they had, nothing to do with it.
There was also when they were at the food truck, the grub truck, there was a guy that Maddie knew that they were standing there talking to, and he was wearing a hoodie, and he was cleared as well. So was the driver for their Lyft service.
So jumping ahead a little bit, at approximately 11:50 a.m., this is 10 minutes before they called, DM called her friend EA and asked her to come over and check the house because she was scared. EA and her boyfriend, HJ, came over. They met DM and BF at the bottom floor of the house. The four together started to walk up the stairs to the second floor. When they reached the second floor, HJ went to the kitchen to grab a kitchen knife. When he came back out, DM saw Xana again for a split second, and I just started bawling because I thought she had just I don't even know. I thought maybe she was still just drunk and all asleep on the floor. Also saw Xana lying on the floor. HJ told DM and BF to get out. EA, who had started up the stairs, also turned around after HJ instructed her not to come any further. They both went outside. Shortly afterwards, HJ exited the house and told them to call 911. He was pale white and mentioned something about someone being unconscious. At 11:56 a.m., BF called 911 from her phone and spoke to Carolina Calvin, the 911 dispatcher. The call lasted 4 minutes and 11 seconds. During the call, the phone was passed around to different people, as we talked about, between, looks like 3 of them there, BF, DM, and HJ, and so 4 of them, sorry, and an unidentified girl speaking heavily breathing and crying can be heard throughout the call. BF spoke first, stating, "Something is happening. Something's happened in our house and we don't know what." BF attempted to provide address to the house to dispatch, but could not continue at that point. An unidentified don't woman speaker took the phone and provided an address. So this is kind of a transcript right there, what you kind of heard in the beginning of the phone call there, just describing, hey, dispatch is like, stop passing the phone around, blah, blah, blah. So from there, it is wild because, like, Chris was stating, what was the motive behind it, and we won't ever know, but it's just crazy because why these particular 4,
Right.
I know that we'll get into it, I'm sure, next week, but he was creepy. He had several
Oh yeah,
complaints
we'll
against
touch on
him.
it. We can touch on it real fast.
Yeah, that's fine.
One of the dates that he had. This is the most awkward thing to say to a female, by the way.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
went on
Tinder date.
Yeah, he went on a Tinder date. She said they had a good time. She invited him back to her apartment. He came in and was being overly touchy-feely and rubbing her back, and she asked him why.
He was tickling her.
Yeah, he was tickling her.
Tickling her.
Who tickles?
Well, when you first meet somebody, just give them a tickle.
Unsafe. I'll never tickle you, I promise. Anyways, carry on.
Just weird though.
She ended up. She said she had to go to the bathroom, and he tried to follow her into the bathroom.
Yes.
She made herself throw up to get him to go home because she was so creeped out.
It was uncomfortable.
Yes.
And then he texted her.
And I wonder if I could find the text. That's the
and
best.
said, "I had a really great time and enjoyed our date. You have great birthing hips."
Or something along those lines, but definitely included
birthing hips was at the end.
Comment.
I didn't realize that you're supposed to text that. You have great birthing hips.
Yeah,
that is so
Am I supposed to say you have nice shoulders? What?
Kind of
some crazy.
Yeah, that's way down at the bottom of the compliment bag, man. I mean,
what can you have great birthing hips? I just don't. Yeah, at that point, and then they stated that she just blocked him. She cut off, which I mean, what else you gonna say to that?
He was creepy. I'm sorry. If you tried, did we show a picture of him?
Yeah, I do have one on there. I will bring it up here in a minute.
If you see, like when you see his face and just how he looks, he screams creep.
Well, and he had a history of not being socially accepted and having an issue dealing with people.
He was bigger.
Yeah.
And well, and not only that, I mean, not just his weight, but like he had social issues,
Chris, I just want to tell you have great birthing hips.
I appreciate that.
Wow, that's the best I've heard. I'm using that. Bird's gonna use it. Bird, I knew you were gonna use that line. You have great birthing hips.
It works on Tim.
Get out of here. Bird, I'm going to use that line on you when I come in your live next. Oh, man. So, yeah, when you see a picture of him and you look at him, you literally, it's like looking into his eyes, you see like black.
You see right out the back of his head.
Yeah.
And Bethany said, the bushy eyebrows. She saw a man in a ski mask with bushy eyebrows.
So, excuse me. Yeah, sorry about that.
A lot of people that have bushy eyebrows, but
She
I mean,
got
he definitely fit the bill.
she got lucky because when she went in her doorway, he was just walking by. And the fact that but she didn't say nothing, and I don't know if it was the prosecutor or his defense, somebody stated that at that point, that may have saved her life that she didn't say nothing, you know? Um, so
Oh, the radar.
well, we got Storm
Worried about
Tracker
storm
75
divine, yeah.
over here. Um, but yeah, the fact that she didn't say nothing when she saw him, that
Or
probably saved
screaming.
her
It
life,
did.
you
It
know?
100% had to.
Yeah. But I don't know. We're gonna get into some other stuff next week because I'm still on the fence about another thing that nobody agrees with me on. Unsafe agrees with me on it, but
No.
that's
I'm sorry,
fine.
I
That's
don't.
fine.
I
Well,
can't.
that'll be
Yeah.
for later.
It's gonna be a 2-on-1 here.
Anyways, you guys don't scare me. Well, he does, but that's beyond it now. So, anyways, I wanted to read. I actually have the report from the first responding sergeant on scene there. I got it with a lot of the court documents. Just give me a minute and I will pull that up. There's so much stuff that I have here. It's crazy. And I'm hoping to get more by the time next week goes on. So this is a responding officer here. Um, he's with the Moscow Police Department, and I'll leave his name out of it. So at approximately 1600 hours on 11/13/22, Sergeant, I'll leave that out for now. And I responded to 1122 King Road to assist with the scene security processing. Upon arrival, the ISP forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. OFC Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk through the scene. So they entered into the house through the bottom floor on the north side of the building. Upon entering, he observed a small bedroom on the west side of the bottom floor. The door was ajar, and I could see a bed with covers with several miscellaneous personal items strewn about. That's a fancy word. The room did not appear to have any occupied by anyone, as I did not see any clothes inside. I followed OFC Smith down the hall where there was a small bathroom. Next to the bathroom to the east side was what I later learned was a utility closet. This closet had a pin code style lock and was secured. I looked into the bedroom on the east end of the bottom floor, which I later learned belonged to, and they blanked that out, so I don't even know the name.
It was, I believe that was Dylan's room.
The room had normal clothes and personal items, but otherwise did not seem anything
unusual.
Yeah. OFC Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. The stairs ended in a small living room. There was a sectional style couch along the east and south wall of the room. There was also a small TV in a void on the northeast corner of the room. I also saw a black black backpack, wow, on the floor just east of the top of the stairs. OFC Smith then directed me down the hallway to the west room on the second floor, which I later learned was Xana's room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body later identified as Xana laying on the floor. She was laying on her back with her feet facing the east and her head was facing west. She had a thong type underwear on and a gray sweatshirt. There was a large amount of blood on the floor around her as well. I could see numerous wounds on her arms, hands, and face, which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Just next to her on the west wall was a small white nightstand, which appeared to have been moved as it was pushed against the wall at an odd angle. There was blood on this nightstand in various spots. The bed in her room was situated on the south wall of the bedroom, with the head of the bed appearing to be towards the west wall. I could see a male later identified Ethan laying on his back in the bed with some type of blanket pulled over his midsection. Ethan's body was at a angle on the bed on the north side. I could not clearly see the wounds to his head or his neck, but could see a very large amount of blood on the bed as well as what appeared to be blood spatter on the wall next to his head and neck. So that probably was that picture that we saw with it spattered on the wall there. I also noticed 2 large cuts to the back of his legs. The wounds appeared to be deep into the tissue, but were difficult to see due to the way that his body was. OFC Smith then took me through the house and pointed out the other people, doesn't blurts out the names, bedroom, which was situated on the southeast side of the second floor of the house. Bedroom door open to the kitchen, as well as the staircase, which led to the third floor of the house. Upon my brief visual inspection, Blank's room was disheveled, but did not appear to have any blood or struggle. Um, so, yeah, this house was big. I remember one of the girls had stated she had told a friends of hers that it was like a mansion or something. I forget who it was, but yeah, because it was. I mean, it was for, college kids, it was a big house. Um, so just moving along here. OFC Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. The bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogan's room, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered this room, I could see 2 women in the single bed in the room. The bed was situated along the north wall of the room, and both women later identified as Mogan Madison and
Kaylee.
yeah, were lying on their backs with their heads towards the east and their feet towards the west, which was also the direction of the only decor in the room. Both girls had numerous visible stab wounds and were covered in a significant amount of blood. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Madison's right side when viewed from the door. I remained in the room for a moment and then proceeded back outside. So,
Maddie also had a pair of pink cowboy boots and an M in her window.
yes.
That's how you always knew that was her room.
Yes, and they were stating something that they're thinking that Brian, knew that from all his driving around that like 4 times the night before driving around. So um I will definitely next week I'll read a lot more of this court document and stuff like that. And hopefully maybe I'll get some more stuff from my Moscow Police Department. I requested, let's see, body cam footage, audio, all kinds of stuff. So we'll see when I hear back from them. FBI requested a lot of this stuff too. So, anyways, as far as for part 1, I don't think I have anything else with the part 1.
No, we're going to leave you off where he was pulled over for the first time.
Yeah. And then next week we will take off on part 2 with this, but it's just there's a lot going on here, and just the fact that cuz he was very OCD too. Extremely, got to wear gloves and this and that.
We're gonna
yeah,
touch on that.
yeah.
So how much he was into that,
Yeah.
like how deep.
But just how much of a mess, and then to mess up and to leave that sheath from the knife there like that, lying on the sheet, like,
Well, So excuse me, when he was
honk the horn for the yawn.
Yeah, seriously. You just hold that back for a minute. Good grief.
Good grief. We're gonna have to get a sound clip now of Chris saying, "Good grief."
So when he was at WSU, he was a student teacher, right? A teaching assistant.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, he was a PhD candidate. So yeah, he was also teaching undergrad.
Students said that he was always very put together, but very like rude almost or mean when he graded and judged and helped people out. After the murders, they said he became really nice. He started looking disheveled and he started having bags under his eyes.
Yeah.
They always kind of had that sunken eye kind of look, though.
Yeah, but they said it was worse. It was like
I
black.
don't know.
Yeah, I remember that the one girl was stating that it was really weird because she could tell that he was like, excuse me, trying to force himself to be nice. And it was just really weird, you know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
right. So his real him was mean, but his fake him
Was
Yeah.
is
weird.
trying to be
Yeah. Yeah, look at
kinda
me.
like
I'm
a
going to be really
kind of person
sweet
to
and
yeah.
innocent now, but really I just committed this crime.
Heinous crime.
And I really believe that he thought he was going to get away. I mean, you know, most of these killers do. I should say they probably all believe that at first, but
I will agree with you on that. I think he 100% thought he was better and smarter than every killer out there and that he was going to get away because he had a PhD or he
yeah.
was a PhD candidate.
Yeah. Well, that and the fact that he thought he was pulling a fast one by, oh, I'm going to either shut off my phone or turn it into the mode, you know, where it's not going to ping because
Mhm.
he realized that that's one of the first things that they do now is they track. I mean, we've all seen court trials. They track the cell phone tower data,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
can pull that.
he thought he was being crafty in many occasions, also with the garbage thing that we'll talk about.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Next
yeah.
week's full of a
Some of
lot
the
of
other stuff
details.
is
Next week,
just,
yeah. Yeah. Sounds like the criminology program at WSU needs work. Yeah, David, I'll agree with you there. But don't upset, you know, Chris over here now with that kind of talk, you know? Gotta be careful now.
Well, he didn't go
unusual
to WSU.
circumstances, you know. I'm sure WSU is just fine, just because this
One person.
whack job.
I
This,
I,
you
I
know.
wonder if they took a little bit of some shit after that or a little bit of a hit after that, you know?
Well, yeah, you fear that, I'm sure, as a entity like that,
Yeah.
that you'll get a bad rap for something that you're associated with.
Yeah.
But,
Because
but once again, you can't really put that on.
well, my thought is think of the students when they go in there where it's like, can we trust anybody in the class?
Right.
You know, they're probably freaking out a little bit, you know, like, well, if we get another helper or, you know, whatever, like, because I'm sure they got to do background checks on these people before they become like a helper or advisor or whatever he was. I'm sure there's got to be, I would imagine, even though he's a student in the school, wouldn't they still have to do some sort of check on him, you think?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, he didn't
But
have.
he didn't have nothing. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, he might have had that heroin issue or whatever. he
And
had,
stealing his sister's
but-
phone, but that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether that's a.
I was just curious. I didn't know if they do a check on them, even though they're a student there, if they still have to do something to apply for it,
Yeah,
you
but
know?
nobody saw this coming.
Well, no,
I mean,
no.
Everybody just thought he was kind of weird.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. After he followed a girl to the car and she thought he was creepy. I mean, but
Yeah.
but he just came across as creepy.
Well, he just liked her birthing hips.
Well,
So,
that could have been a thing.
but that could have been a thing. But other than that, we are going to end it here for this week. We appreciate everybody being in here. Once again, if you don't already subscribe to the YouTube channel here, hit the subscribe button for me and hit the little bell.
The little
what
bell
that
will
does,
tell you when we're live.
the little bell will tell you when we're live, because you don't have to text and say, hey, you're not live this week. I didn't see it. Won't say any names. David. Anyways,
not just you.
if you hit the little bell, David, it will notify you before we're live. It even notifies me when I'm going live on my own show. So,
Thank God, because if it didn't, we'd be all sorts of messed up. I mean,
you have a great rest of your weekend too. Easter, that's right, tomorrow. So everybody, we hope you have
Thanks,
a wonderful
Happy
Easter.
Easter, guys.
And we will see you guys back here next week. Other than that, I don't think we have any other business to discuss. We will see you guys next week for part 2, and I will let Classroom Jackie take us all out of here.
Same crime time, same crime place.